Wait, did you hear that? Listen to this.
Even in larger cities, with more tourist traffic, such as Madrid or Barcelona, the cost of living is pennies on the dollar.
Okay, this just said, even in larger cities with more tourist traffic, like Madrid and Barcelona, the cost of living is just pennies on the dollar. Okay, so we're still at 1 minute and 27 seconds of an 11.5-minute video. And we've already said that it was paradise and so cheap. Where have we heard this before, guys? Now let me show you something. All right, the pennies on the dollar idea here. We see United States GDP 59,000. That's a median household income, $59,000. When we go to Spain, it's 38,000. That's about 60%, 62%, somewhere in there. Clearly does not qualify for pennies on the dollar. Pennies on the dollar would have to be a whole lot lower than that. So pennies on the dollar for Spain, a country in Europe. I mean, it just boggles the mind that people would make videos like this and think they could get away with this kind of discussion. Spain is not pennies on the dollar, and especially in the larger cities of Madrid and Barcelona, you know, unless you're comparing them to, you know, California or New York. So, but yeah, for the more normal areas like the rest of the country, it's not pennies on the dollar, it's 60 cents on the dollar. So if you know, if it rents $1,000 in the States, it would be $600 in Spain, just according to these numbers. I'm sure there's a lot of fluctuations and variations rather. And then if it's a $2,000 rent, it would be $1,200 in Spain. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Is this a typo? I mean, the average price for real estate, first off, we're in it in 1 minute and 0.42, and we're already talking about the price of real estate. Okay, well, fine. 4,500 a meter to 6,000. This has got to be a typo. If it's, yeah, how could this be? This is being touted as cheap. This is $450 to $600 a foot. I have issues with that number. Okay, this just says that you can retire comfortably on $500 in Thailand. Well, how old is this information? I mean, this was from 10, 15 years ago, maybe longer. Live. I mean, this is saying comfortably. So we're not talking about a shabby hotel-sized room and eating noodles from street vendors and that kind of thing. Maybe you could do it for $500 if you did it like that, but this is talking about comfortably. And comfortably, you know, you're going to spend, at least if you want to be in better neighborhoods and such and have a decent lodging, at least $300, $400, $500 in rent, and then your food's going to, you know, in addition to that, and then you've got your visa runs. And nowadays places like Thailand and Ecuador are instituting mandatory universal health care for all these foreigners coming in and using their healthcare systems. This is where we've heard this before. You know, anytime we see these lists and people going, a lot of people, a lot of traffic, this is what happens. This is the backlash. It just makes it more expensive. And I'm sure for those that were going to use the medical system anyway, it's no big deal. But a lot of people just want to go places and kind of, you know, live there without having to use the medical system at all. To each his own, but I'm just saying that things change, and Thailand is no longer the place to live comfortably on $500. This is very old information.
Best known as the home of the mountaintop Inca citadel, Machu Picchu, Peru still remains fairly undiscovered as a retirement destination.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Cost of rent starting as low as $150 a month. These really low-balled rents, like $100 in Thailand and $150 in Peru. This isn't the comfortable, super cheap, comfortable, live in paradise retirement that this video is attempting to make it sound like what you're going to get on those figures. This is just, I'm just shaking my head. This is just more of the same of that kind of RAM pumping information that just is designed to just get a lot of views and drum up a lot of traffic. But as we shall see, they actually come down to talking about expensive property. I mean, 4,500 to 6,000 a meter for property in Spain. 450 to 600. Listen, there's so much. There are oodles and oodles and oodles of properties in your own country, in the States, way cheaper than that. Way cheaper than that. But let's keep moving. $150 in Peru isn't going to get you a nice, comfortable place. You're going to spend between $350 for a small place to $700 a month or more. So $150 goes nowhere. I mean, I'm not saying you can't find a place. I mean, you can. I mean, you can get places like that, okay? Look, you can go to Quito, and you can go to Peru, and you can go to some of these South American countries, and you're going to get a place that isn't really worth discussing. Nobody would want to rent those, except for maybe just the diehard backpacker, you know, which doesn't qualify for comfortable paradise retirement on pennies on the dollar, right?
Compared to other Latin American countries, Peru has an average cost of living. It's cheaper than Brazil, Colombia, or Chile, but more expensive than Bolivia or Paraguay.
It has an average cost of living with $150 rentals. You know, 10 cheapest countries to live or retire as a tourist. That's what the video should be called. You know, but they are parading these small figures, $100 and $150, which those go nowhere. But it's a come-on video. I'm 3 minutes and 41 seconds into it, and well, okay, no spoilers, no spoilers. Portugal.
With a sliver of coastline and an inland ambience that can take you back centuries in time, Portugal, in many ways, still belongs to an earlier era. People are friendly and courteous. The low cost of living is a big draw for those who choose to live in Portugal. Even in the capital, Lisbon.
I mean, a couple can live comfortably on $2,200 in Portugal. Well, okay. You know, again, maybe that sounds cheap from big city America, but you know, there's lots and lots of places where you can live on 20. Listen, I was raising a family of 5 adults on less than $2,000 a month plus housing in the States. So, I mean, $2,200, that's not the fabulously cheap that they're talking about. I mean, it sounds reasonable enough, but people in Portugal make a whole lot less money than people in the States. So this figure of $2,200 a month is not that great a figure to me. It just doesn't for a couple. It's not even a family. There's no need for these 10 cheapest countries to be able to go live in Portugal on $2,200. I'm not saying you can go anywhere in any of the big cities, you know, in the center of the tourist center, but you could go to just about a lot of different countries and do that if you make an effort.
A lunch for 2 at an inexpensive restaurant runs $16. You'll pay double that for a mid-range eatery. A 1-bedroom rental in cities averages $690, and outside the city center, you'll pay $450.
Again, $690 for a 1-bedroom. That just, you know, I mean, the locals are earning that in a month, $700, 700 euros, whatever. That's just mind-boggling to me. I mean, you can. This is just a 1-bedroom. It's not like a big 4-bedroom house, okay, with a yard and all. I mean, it's a 1-bedroom. $700 for a 1-bedroom. You know, $32 for a meal. I mean, for 2 people, that's $16. Yeah. Listen. Look. This thing is titled the 10 cheapest countries to live, okay? I'm not quibbling with the price. If somebody wants to go there and spend that, go for it, be my guest. I'm just saying, you know, that this is 10 cheapest countries. You might not need to work. $2,200, $700 rents.
Colombia. Located in South America, Colombia is where the Pacific and the Caribbean collide with the Andes and the Amazon. It's a country that is more beautiful, dramatic, and diverse than nearly any other. And Colombia boasts beautiful areas where the cost of living is the lowest you'll find anywhere in South America.
Well, lowest cost of living in South America. That's a pretty big claim, seeing that the RAMMs named Ecuador the best place in the world to live and retire on a budget. But now it's Colombia. Now it's Colombia. Spoiler alert, this is the 10 cheapest countries. They start with number 10 and they go to number 1. And this is just, if you, I mean, to me, I don't need any more information. I've heard enough in the first minute. But, you know, some people need more information. Let's keep watching it. I'll show you what I mean here. It says the 10 cheapest, starts with 10, goes to 1. See where it ends up with on the 1.
You can live here comfortably on around $1,000 to $2,000 per month.
Okay, which is it, 1,000 or 2,000? That's a huge, that's 100% more. Did I mention that we lived through the RAMM-induced expat bubble of 2011 in Cuenca, Ecuador? That's why I'm reacting this way, because I've been through this stuff and I've seen this.
The national average for an apartment in both the central city districts and the suburbs is less than $270 per month.
Really? So since when do we do a national average? This includes, you know, small houses way out in the middle of the woods and big city condos where all the tourists are going, like in the tourist sector, the people that are paying $1,500 a month for, and then you just take a little average there? I mean, since when?
Malaysia has everything that may want to make someone relocate there. It is also a perfect destination for those looking for an affordable retirement. The climate in Malaysia means that fruit and vegetables are grown all year round. In general, food products in markets will cost half what they do in the UK or the US.
Uh-oh, Houston, we've got a problem. We're comparing markets. This is outdoor markets. This is not supermarkets. We're comparing markets to prices in the UK and the US. Big, huge red flag. Some of you know that I've been talking about this for quite some time. This is my domain. I mean, you know, shopping at markets is where the locals shop. It's where poor folks shop. And to compare those prices to the UK and the US, it's just, oh my gosh, unbelievable. What you compare the market prices to is the prices in that country, in the same country where you're shopping, not foreign prices. If you follow this advice, this is an excellent way for you to show up and start paying triple of what all the locals are paying. And I find people that compare this way actually end up paying store prices at the markets. And this is a tragedy, because this is where people on lower incomes go shop, and this is for people that want to live on a local level. There's also foreigners that, for one reason or another, want to live on a local level. And you know, how many people watch these videos? This thing's got 2.6 million views in 7 months, and you don't need very many people showing up from the UK or the US going to these markets and comparing the prices to back home. That is a big no-no, and just goes to show that the people that are promoting this kind of idea either have a clear agenda or they just don't have a clue what they're talking about. All right, so now we're getting to the agenda here, talking about being able to buy a house on the beach. In Ecuador for $150,000, which, you know, if you're comparing to back home, hey, what a steal, right? But those don't stay at that, and that's old information, and last I've seen they were 300, but you know, whatever, they fluctuate, 150, 300, that's not the point. The point is, everything else about this video, it's so off base that, I mean, this just stands out to me like a sore thumb as the reason why the video was made, is to get the property sales. You know, more power to you. You want to go buy property there, great, go for it. But you know, let's just listen to this.
Apartment rental prices depend on the location in the city, but tend to cost about $80 to $450 per month.
I mean, yeah, you can get those, but expats are usually paying, you know, they like to pay $800 for their rentals, $800 to $1,200 for their rentals. The prices have been going down, back down to $500, $600. You can find $450, but again, in the touristy areas and the places where all the expats want to live, that's not what people pay. And sure, there may be $80 rentals, but nobody rents those. Nobody, you know, again, why mention these figures that people aren't gonna, they aren't anything that any tourist would be renting. Prices that are mentioned here are clearly trying to hook people, and when these kinds of videos and promotions are made, even if those prices were available at that time, they immediately just get jacked up the minute. I've seen them when we lived through the bubble in Cuenca, Ecuador. They just get jacked up on the spot. Yeah, a good 30 to 50%. So
Mexico always features among top retirement havens. It's home to more North American expats than any other country in the world, and the remarkably affordable cost of living will entice you to stay. Accommodations in Mexico are affordable, whether you choose to live with roommates or by yourself.
wait, they're affordable whether you choose to live with roommates or by yourself? Roommates? That was back in the school days. You could, I mean, yeah, adults can live with roommates, but is that like paradise, cheap living and all? Okay, all right.
The closer you are to the city center or the beach, the more costly it becomes.
Wait, it's more costly in the city center or the beach? Well, where? I mean, where else is there that you would want to live in a pennies on a dollar, paradise? Everything about this video just screams at me. Okay, so yeah, what, you're gonna go abroad to go live out in the country, out in the middle of nowhere, in the sticks, as they say? I don't think so. Most people want to live in the city or they want to live at the beach. So, I mean, that's already telling you, well, yeah, it's affordable, it's reasonable, but if you go live, okay, yeah, I get it.
Costa Rica. Costa Rica is one of the safest spots and best places to live in Central America.
All right, wait a second. One of the safest spots. I want to show you something here. Homicides in Costa Rica are actually on the rise. There were 593 murders in 2018. Victims of malicious homicides increased in Costa Rica during the last 5 years. This is the table that shows from 2014 the homicide rates increasing in Costa Rica, and similar things happening in Mexico and Panama.
Expats are attracted to Costa Rica for numerous reasons, which include the low cost of living.
No, Costa Rica is on par with Panama. I did another video about Panama City being one of the most expensive areas in Central and South America, one of the most expensive cities. You can always live on less anywhere. Costa Rica and Panama are very expensive from a comparison point of view in Central and South America. And to call Costa Rica cheap, this has been going on for years, where I used to read about Costa Rica in the 80s. Costa Rica was extremely cheap at that time. But things have changed. Things have changed in Panama. Things have changed in Costa Rica. There's been a lot of promotions, a lot of foreigners. And it used to be you could retire in Costa Rica and the government only wanted you to show a $600 retirement. Now you have to show $3,000. So that tells you something. Okay, that tells you what's happened to prices. So Costa Rica has issues with crime, and they also are not. It's not cheap.
Panama. Panama is an excellent spot for expats, retirees, and even digital nomads. It's modern, comfortable, safe, and friendly.
So here we come to the grand finale. We have a 10 cheapest countries. We started at 10 and ended up with 1, and it ends up Panama is number 1. This is a reverse psychology video where it's not titled the best place to retire and then telling you it's Panama. It's simply saying the 10 cheapest countries to live, naming from 10 to 1, and then naming Panama as 1. So Panama is in number 1, and yet Panama is, as we've already discussed, one of the most expensive areas in Central America, if not the most expensive place in Central America. It's not cheap here. It's you can easily spend more than Florida. Sure, you can live cheap in a hotel room sized studio and that kind of thing, no car, and the whole video. It's great. It's got nice photos. It's got great, beautiful pictures of the cities, the landscapes, the sunshine, the ocean. It's an amazing dreamscape video for those that feel stuck and want to escape, and that's exactly who these videos are aimed at and who they're trying to hook. We need to look at this information from a rational point of view to where we understand what's being done here. Anymore nowadays, every time I see something like this and I see the disparity between what is being said and what the facts actually are, it's just a reminder to me how much people need to take responsibility into their own hands for doing their own due diligence about where they want to go and what the facts actually are. And if you want some help with that, check out the links below. If you like the video, thumbs it up for the algorithm and subscribe. And thanks for watching. Once again, have a wonderful day from Frank and Angie. Retire earlier and better at home or abroad.